Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Nishu, I can hear you fine.
Yeah. Sorry for late. Actually, there is issue with I don't know whatever it is. So are you ready to start? So,
From my side, yes.
okay. So I'm just wanted to thank for everyone for having here. This is Wise Crypto, and also today we're going to discuss more about the LightLink. And I think through this AMA we'll know more about what is this and also how it works, and also their tokenomics, their benefits, and so on. So first of all, could you please introduce yourself a little bit? Like, how do you connect to this project?
Well, firstly, my name is Roy. Thank you for having me here. I'm the CEO of LightLink. We're running one of the teams behind the project. We built the network and we look after the technology and various aspects of the project.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So it's time to know more about your project. I think people are waiting to hear about it. Could you say like what is Lightning and also how it works in crypto?
Sure thing. Um, LightLink is a layer two enterprise focused blockchain network. Um, I have been in technology for over 20 years and in the crypto space in over 6 years. And we've built a lot of different solutions for different uses, tokenizing government bonds, public transportation, on-chain exchanges, NFT projects, and things like that. And over the past 6 years, we've seen many layer ones come and go, and many private blockchains thrive and then question for its validity because it's not in a public sphere. So we've seen the demand and the requirements for a lot of these projects, and one of the things we saw was a need for a layer two blockchain. By anchoring our transaction on Ethereum, we can prove the validity of every single transaction that occurred on a layer two network on LightLink, and we scale through a different layer because if you transact on Ethereum, as you know, it's quite costly. It's very high latency, very low transactional throughput. But if we were able to bundle up these transactions and process it on a different layer and expose all that transactions publicly and use Ethereum's decentralization and security, we can achieve a much higher throughput. So the founder of Ethereum, Vitalik, said Ethereum would eventually be moved towards a more modular blockchain network where Ethereum base layer, the layer one of Ethereum, will become more of a settlement layer. And a lot of the transactions will happen on a layer two. And over the past year or so, we've seen rises of different layer two networks, Optimism, Arbitrum being a couple of more popular ones. And we would like to be one of those too. We've been building the network for quite a while, and our goal is to scale Ethereum, but we do things a little bit differently. And one of the key things that we do different to other layer twos out there is we have this thing called a gasless mode. With that mode enabled, we're able to process transactions without the user needing to pay gas. And we think it's one of the biggest complexities facing our industry. So if we really want to broaden our horizon to millions of users, we really need to make things simpler. So acquiring a native token like BNB, Matic, Ether are not easy things to do for the average person. So we're trying to shift the gas fee from a user paid system to a corporate pay system or a contract deployer paid system. So users can use the blockchain with substantially more efficiency and more simplicity. And hopefully, by with that capability, we can onboard millions more users. Hopefully, that explains what we are and how we're different.
Yeah, thank you, sir. You did very well. So, as you said, like the LightLink is an enterprise ready like Ethereum layer 2 scaling solution, and also it's aimed to offer a security and also decentralization of the Ethereum combined with higher transaction throughput and also cheaper transaction fees. So, sir, there's a question from my side. Like, you try to like Ethereum combined with the higher transactions throughput and also cheaper the transaction fees. So, is it possible actually? And also, this is the reliable. If yes, how could you do that actually? I just wanted to know.
Uh, yeah, sure. Great question. It is possible because we are doing it right now. Our mainnet is online. It's been online since January and it's been quite stable. We processed, I think, over 9 million blocks so far, and we do thousands of transactions every day. With another earlier version of this project, because we were building it under a more enterprise mode, we were able to transact millions of transactions every day. And hopefully, over the next few months, we can migrate some of these use cases onto LightLink and being able to see millions of transactions on LightLink every day. And that would be a great objective for us to achieve. So, yeah, it is possible. And our peers are doing it also. So there are many other very well established layer twos have established their credibility, their technology capability across the internet, Arbitrum, Optizen, to name a couple. And how we do this is because instead of using Ethereum per transaction, we're bundling up transactions, we're doing things in a bulk. And it's the same methodology. We're still transacting transaction by transaction. We're still processing everything using EVM. Our technology is still compatible with Solidity. You can write coding Solidity and deploy it onto LightLink. It's full EVM compatible, but it still works in the same way. We just process transaction at a much faster block time. So our current block time is 500 milliseconds, and we process a lot of transactions because we can run things in a lot more higher efficiency. And after we bundle all these transactions, we place a proof on layer one to ensure, hey, these transactions occurred, and here is the proof that they occur. And if you want to challenge this validity, you can go through all the data that's available, all the transactions that's available, and do your own calculations. And our method of calculating these things are public, and people can challenge us if they disagree with the validity we have placed on layer one. So, in short, in short, you don't have to trust us. You can trust math, right? So, from a cryptography perspective, from an algorithm perspective, it's not. I think this is the same thesis across the entire crypto industry. It's about trusting code, about trusting math, not trusting individuals and what they say. It works because it works. You know, math is math.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, sir, for that, for the clarification. So people know already, I think they have proven like how to do it, and also, the Lightning is fully EVM compatible. That is meaning, like any kind of smart contract that runs on the Ethereum can be deployed and also interact with on the Light link for as little as like I can say 0.01 actually. So, sir, there's a question for you. I saw that you used like you're using like some kinds of protocol. So, could you say more about your protocol and also how they do make efficient this project?
Sorry, could you repeat the question? It's a protocol because it's a network. It's a layer two blockchain network. Could you elaborate on that question a little bit more?
Yeah, I just said that I saw you are using some kind of protocols to in your project. So, could you say how they do make efficient this project, like using this kind of protocol? What kind of benefit you are getting?
All right. Okay. Certainly. Because it's a layer two blockchain, because we process transactions at a much faster pace, we can achieve almost a real time transaction speed. So, for example, if you want to buy a ticket and you want to use that ticket when you enter into a sporting event, that transaction happens at almost real time. So you walk through the gates, you can scan your QR code or NFC chip, and a on-chain transaction could almost achieve in real time, 500 milliseconds. We have the ability to decrease that into 250 milliseconds, but until that use case is required, we just want to keep things at a relatively achieve still near real time, but no need to double our computation capacity until that's needed, of course. So near real time communications and transactions are really important. It's applicable to many, many different industries. I use ticketing as an example. Gaming is also really interesting. So when you unlock that new achievement, you want to record that new achievement potentially on chain, and the rewards that you get in terms of its points, its digital assets can all occur in the same transaction. So within a second, you can have all your bonuses, all your assets, all your new weapons, skins, different digital assets almost unlock in a smart contract that can be publicly viewable, and you can own it in its entirety using a on-chain cryptography as NFTs in your wallet instantly. So that's sort of the future we're seeing, right? So it is my personal belief to think a lot of the valuable transactions will happen on the internet. Your personal assets from a financial asset perspective, your digital assets will all happen on chain. And that's because from a protocol perspective, from a systems perspective, it's the most efficient, the best technology out there today. It's so much better than a database. It's much better than mainframe, large computation systems. It's more secure, it's cheaper to operate, it's much more efficient and more reliable. So I think a lot of the transactions in the future, and more and more so these days, we're seeing powered by blockchain. And the current layer one blockchains out there are not fast enough and doesn't have the capacity. So following Vitalik's thesis, we really need to do this on a layer two. So metaverse applications, gaming, ticketing are all some of the applications I think would be really beneficial to use a layer two network like ours, LightLink.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. And also, I think they are providing or they are try to bring like Web 2 to Web 3, and also they are providing L2 blockchain. They have the zero fees and also super fast tax speed and trusted by a major industries institution actually. So no worry about their security system also. And they are the only enterprise blockchain. They're trying to bring in Web 2 to Web 3 actually. So people to know more about their project, you can make research, you can visit their website, their Twitter and Telegram so far. And also, if you have any kind of query, you can ask on through this voice chat actually. So get back to the question. I think you may have your native token. Could you say more about your token, your tokenomics, and also utilities about your token?
Yeah, good question. We try not to focus on the token too much because we're building the network, right? The tokens represent the value of the network. So we want to build long-term sustainable value. We do that by having more people to use the network, building more applications, encouraging more ecosystem to flourish on the network, as well as migrating our existing large-scale enterprise projects to the network and onboard partners and new projects to participate in the network. So, for example, in Thailand, our corporate partner is one of the largest enterprises, conglomerates in the country, and we're working to build many different really exciting real-world applications on it, from retail to payments to education certification, and even metaverse applications. We talk about a lot of our partnerships on our Twitter channel, and the tokens that we are issuing represents a enterprise fee application to use the network. But if you hold a token, you also hold a part of the network. It correlates to the owning a part of the network. It's fully decentralized, and therefore in the future, when we operate the network through a foundation, through a DAO, if you hold a token, your voice matters. You can delegate your tokens to others to make those decisions in terms of network growth, how we should pursue the future of the network, and yeah, it's all about building that ownership and value in the network.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for providing your all kind of information and tokenomics. So people, you can do a lot of things. They're providing a lot of opportunity. Know about that. So, sir, going to the last question from the introductory part, like, could you say, like, how can people make money? As you know, the people are seeking money to, nowadays, like, they're all time asking, like, how can I be benefited? How can I earn money? So, how can people earn money from your LightLink, and also, what is your upcoming plan?
Okay, great question. Interesting question. Also, firstly, it's a open network. Anybody can build applications on top. So I would recommend developers to recommend to study and explore the network by building interesting applications on top of the network. And you can introduce your own tokenomics, your own economics to benefit from this new ecosystem, right? For content creators, for other internet-based roles or professions, explore how a new network that has the unique property of ours benefit what you do. Is it because when you ask question like how can I create 100,000 NFTs for free? It's actually really difficult on public networks. So maybe by engaging in a more gasless mode or a enterprise mode, that becomes a possibility for you. So through that capability, you can offer services to a retailer or a media company to create a different type of business. So yeah, we are not a short-term pump and dump crypto project, right? We're building a network, and from our perspective, it's about providing you the best tool sets available, providing you with the most stable and best technology available, so you can build business on top, and that's how you can make money from what we do.
Okay, okay, got it. So people actually know what you can make money from their project, and also I can mention they're very much reliable as they're providing the zero fees for the transaction. So no worry, you can take part on their all kind of programs and so on. So sir, before going to the live segment, I just want to know: is there any kind of ongoing activities right now, like where people can take part, or people you are rewarding the people?
No, we of course, there are social activities that you can conduct. There are Crew 3 quests that you can participate. We have that on our Twitter channel, which is LightLink Chain. And in the future, we'll be enabling bridges and various decentralized exchanges. And if you want to interact with those protocols and those applications, I think maybe you will find a surprise in the future.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. So, sorry, it's time to take some question from the community. I just want to request everyone, raise your hands, and also, if you have any kind of good question, and also try to find out the good question for our honorable guest. So here is Fortune. Hello, Fortune.
Yeah, hello, Liz. Minjos. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My question to LightLink, I also want to know, as a global project, as a team, well, what are the strategy are you implementing to bridge the gap between Web2 users and Web3? So I want to know, like, what strategy you intend to use to bring in Web2 users into LightLink as a project?
Great question. Um, I think the Web3 ecosystem largely is tiny comparing to the rest of the world. We only have hundreds and thousands of participants and tens and thousands of developers comparing to the rest of the world. So our ambition is how can we bring millions of users, or if not tens and hundreds of millions of users to the ecosystem. So firstly, a lot of the tool sets with Web3 is very difficult to use. MetaMask or buying your native tokens through exchanges and conducting KYCs. And it's a very difficult ecosystem to participate in. So a lot of those interactions must come from much easier user experiences. So we've been building on those solutions for the past 6 years, essentially. There are different abstraction layers we, as a network, can provide to a developer. So, for example, of course, the native Web3 interactions via RPC, via Solidity, native EVM interactions, and those are very native Web3 connections. But we have also built abstraction layers on top, which allows users or developers to interact with the system using RESTful APIs. And those APIs are the same type of APIs as how you would interact with a lot of the Web2 applications like Twitter, like Facebook, like many other APIs are built using the same technology. And in these abstraction layers, you can connect with the chain using username and password, or you can use existing social integrations like connect with Google, sign in with Apple to interact with the chain. So the abstraction layer that we are currently running is a custodian solution. But in the future, we're working on account abstraction. So you've probably seen a lot of account abstraction type of conversation on Twitter and on various media. But just like Vitalik spoke about, the true account abstraction happens on the chain level. So that's something we're working on from our R&D department. You can probably read more of that on our white paper and keep updated through our blogs. And when we fully develop account abstraction, that essentially means it's much, much easier to interact with the chain. So instead of using public key, private key cryptography, maybe you can use email or other type of social logins. And that would be a key element in bridging hundreds of millions of users to the ecosystem. So that's one from a technology front. Secondly, it's from a enterprise customer front. So we're partnering with very large sporting events around the world, whether if it's in baseball, in soccer, in tennis, potentially getting people to participate in our ecosystem, in our on-chain environment using existing well-known large sporting associations, or via retail. So convenience stores that you can use conduct a payment. So maybe after buying something or attending visiting a convenience store, you can have a free digital collectible. And that sort of creates this gateway for you to participate in a wider, larger Web3 ecosystem. It should be an infrastructure technology. You're using it without even realizing that you're using it. And only then you can go, hey, this is actually pretty cool, and offer some benefits. And from there, maybe it's a gateway to a much wider Web3 ecosystem. Hopefully that answers your question, Fortune.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you very much for the answer. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fortune, for your great question, and also thank you, Ilsa, for that. And also the next one is Rosie. Hello, Rosie.
Hi, can I ask my question?
Yeah, sure. Ask your question, please.
Okay, so my question is partnership is always important fact for every project. So who is your partner and what are the benefit you get from this relationship?
Yeah, great question. If you can see our Twitter profile, we announced a lot of the partnerships that we have established. The very first project that we migrated, because we've been running blockchain solutions for the past 6 years, right? So we have a variety of different clients already, which we're in the process of migrating to LightLink, and you can find out more information about them via Pella, our solutions company, but also the profile of myself, because we talk about a lot of the projects that we have done in the past. But the very first project we migrated is called the Red Village. It's a Animoca portfolio company, and we have been working together for the past year and a half, and they've built an amazing business. It's fully on chain, and it was previously running on Polygon-matic, but we hit a lot of scalability issues, and when we migrated to LightLink, it was a much better user experience. And of course, all the important assets still remain on Polygon. So we built this really interesting cross-chain capability. Maybe your project belongs on Ether, but you want to bring the fast throughputs and the transactions on LightLink. And that's a engineering pattern which we can adopt for new projects. I mentioned earlier about our partner in Thailand. It's one of the largest corporates in the country. They own, the largest retailers, convenience stores, and things like that. And we're working together to create a metaverse. And we've also published a lot of articles mentioning this partnership on our Twitter channel. It's a massive, massive metaverse. And it's really, really exciting because it brings a lot of traditional industries, media companies onto a new digital platform. And all of that sits on top of LightLink.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rosie, for for your question. So, to know more about, I just want to suggest you stay with them and also engage with their Twitter and also Telegram. Thank you for that. So, the next one is Mario. Hello, Mario.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Mario, ask your question, please.
Okay, so my question is, what are the significant differential advantages over the other platform, and what is the plan to ensure sufficient liquidity on the exchange?
Great question. Maybe you missed the early part of the AMA. So in terms of differentiation, comparing to alternative layer ones, it's a much faster transactional speed, so 500 milliseconds. It's a lot higher throughput. We process 5,700 transactions per second, and the cost is also very low. So comparing to minting a NFT on Ethereum, for example, it might be $10 or $5. In LightLink, it's 1 cent. So it could be as low as 1 cent. So it's a substantially lower transactional cost. And one of the key differentiations between what we do is a option of a gasless mode. So when an enterprise customer or a DeFi project partner with us, we can remove the need of a gas paid option for the user. So when you interact with a smart contract, that transaction becomes entirely gas free. And that's a super interesting model to entertain because you can design different DeFi protocols, different applications on top of this new concept. And in terms of exchanges and liquidity, anybody can build on top of the solution. So we're not a DEX, we're not a centralized exchange, but we provide a network for other people to build on top of. And we welcome DeFi projects to participate in our network. We have a very solid DeFi roadmap, which I love to publish in our blog. Just need to make a note of that. And of course, when our tokens become more publicly available on layer ones, or on other layer twos, of course, we would try to work with our partners to ensure they have decent liquidity. Hopefully that answers your question, Mario.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Mario, for your question. And also, the next one is Tesla. Hello, Tesla. Hello, Tesla, are you there? Tesla, can you hear us? Okay.
Lisa, I think next one is Mustafiz.
Okay, Mustafiz.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ask your question, please.
Thank you. Okay, my question is security is the most important things when to consider. Things to consider when starting up a project or partnership. How to secure Lightning project for user and investor because there's been a lot of hacking issue. Can we get information about your security system?
Yeah, great question. Um, love the avatar. A big fan of Elon Musk. So, in terms of security, firstly, it's about cryptography, right? We don't reinvent cryptography. You know, we rely on the smartest people in the world to design a cryptography that we already use every day. So when you look at other Ethereum networks, Binance, Polygonmatic, Ethereum, we use the same cryptography. It's a public key, private key, asymmetric encryption. And it's really, really beautiful. So we've got to trust the math and trust the cryptography. Secondly, because we're not a sidechain, we're not a layer one, we're a layer two. We actually bundle up all the transactions and post the proof on layer one. So if we rely on the security and decentralization of Ethereum, and Ethereum as a network is spending hundreds of millions of dollars every year to secure our layer two, right? Because we're building on top of Ethereum. So if we are trusting Ethereum as one of the largest economies, of most vibrant DeFi communities out there, we can build on top of that trust and build on top of the security spend that they currently do. So if you're building a public network that's on somewhere else, a alternative layer one, you have to spend the equal amount of money, or you have to go via a more centralized route. And both sides of that equation doesn't work very well. So it's good to be building on top of Ethereum because we inherit a lot of the security benefits from that. And one of the things you mentioned is hacks, right? So we are currently designing the various other interactions on the network. And luckily, we have the benefits of hindsight. We can learn from a lot of the mistakes that other people have made and look at how we can learn and build on top of that. And we have great security consultants and auditors that will go through our code and publish reporting publicly. So getting third parties to audit our security system is an important component in that step too. Hopefully that answers your question. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mustafiz, for that. And also, as I said, they're highly secured, no worry. So we can take part on that, and that's how. So next, the last participant, I'm going to take North. Hello, North.
Yeah, hello, Mishu. Thanks a lot. So my question is concerning the zero fee because you said you actually don't take fee on your platform. So I would love to know how do you intend to manage with the market because most platform actually include fee in order to maybe pay back the users at the long run, maybe like airdrops and the rest. So how are you going to manage that since you're eliminating fees?
Great question. We are not, just to be super clear, we're not eliminating fees. So anybody can participate on the network. They would be able to deploy a smart contract. It's all open and permissionless. There is a native token required for that transaction for a public use. That native token is Ether. So we use Ether because it's the easiest barrier, it's the lowest barrier to entry, it's the easiest concept to understand. Anybody who's interacted with layer 2 would require a Ether because layer 1's Ether. So be able to bridge over a Ether on Ethereum to LightLink is super simple. And it's a very simple exercise to conduct, because you don't need to learn new concepts like Matic or BNB. You don't need to convert from one currency to another. It's just Ether. And so the public, if you want to play around with the system, if you are a DeFi developer and want to build on top of LightLink, you can just use Ether. Now, if you are a enterprise customer or a large project and want to experiment with this new gasless mode, we can offer that solution to you. So it's a partnership conversation. It's no longer about that permissionless open thing, because we need to onboard you as a corporate customer. So when we sign up with a customer, we charge that project a monthly fee. And that monthly fee will be paying towards the network utility, the growth of the network, and so on and so forth. But the user of this project don't pay a fee. So let's take an example. Like if we are building a game and that game developer would like to engage and use LightLink, they would pay a LightLink a monthly fee, where the gamers who are playing this game don't need to pay a fee, because that fee is paid in bulk and at a much more predictable, efficient manner, because we can aggregate all the transactions on a monthly basis and provide a daily capacity for people to use. So the ecosystem, the wider ecosystem, has a monetary value, has a economics, because as we know, if everything's free, things don't work, because you will run out of money eventually. So there is a economy, and that economy is fairly well designed. I think we will continuously to optimize this economy and ensure it's a profitable and sustainable business. And our intent is to be one of the top 10 blockchains by revenue. And that's something we're working on at the moment. And hopefully over the next month or two, we can track our revenue performance. So from a transaction fee on chain, on public websites, and we can track our progress as we grow in revenue. And that would be a really exciting thing to see.
All right, all right. I mean that's really great. So one last question before I leave. Since you are actually a layer two protocol, and we can see that there are already existing layer two protocol like Arbitrum, Optimism, and the rest. So how do you intend to compete with them? Because I mean they are already large and they've grown so far. So what are you setting out that would actually compete with these already existing layer two protocols?
Great question. Thanks for the insightful question, North. So firstly, I think the world is much larger than the availability of existing protocols, right? So like we said, there are billions of people, and how many participants are there on these networks? We're seeing hundreds of thousands and tens of thousands. So it's much less than the real world. Just like there are with different computation networks, different types of corporates, there are advantages and disadvantages of different plays. So maybe a layer two that's focused in a certain DeFi area might be the strength of existing protocols. We're going after a different pie. We're going after more of the corporate users who want to have predictability, scalability, and simplicity through utilizing this new gasless mode. And we're going after a lot of the Asian partners, which we have formed this close relationship with, where existing layer twos don't have a strong presence in these geographic areas. And when we strategically choose these geographic areas, there are billions of people with smartphone access, with a high crypto penetration and adoption, and there isn't a solution like ours in this market. So strategically, we try to play things a little bit differently and play to our advantages.
All right, all right. Thank you. That's all of my question. Thank you, Mishu.
Yeah, thank you, North, for your great question. And also, I think, sir, we are enough for now. So we need to wrap up this AMA session. But before the wrapping up, do you want to say something which must be known to our community and also any kind of advice to our community?
Well, firstly, thank you for your support. Thank you for participating in this AMA, and thank you, Mishu, for hosting this. I noticed our handles are actually quite close. I'm Mihu and you're Mishu, and it's a happy coincidence. But yeah, like I said, we can't build in isolation. We can't build a network without people using it. So we would love the community to tell your friends about it, to look at the different systems that we are putting together, to participate in the crucial requests that we're putting forward, and participate in the future on-chain activities that we have planned for you. And I think it's a really, really exciting 2023, and I can't wait to tell you what we have planned. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for your precious time to our Wise Crypto, and also thank you, everyone, and also stay tuned with them. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. It's great to be here.